Sego Sawatwego, Yonyats Adarot Sario, Wagatahuni. My name is Roderick Donald Merkel, and I am the elected chief of the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. My clan is Wolf Clan. I bring greetings to everyone this morning and welcome our new council to our meetings. That we have one incumbent and five new members. I welcome them all. There's lots of reading, lots to learn. And by committing to work together as a team, we can accomplish much. And the community has high expectations of our council to address the needs of our community as it relates to housing, water, increased programming. There's many challenges that our members face with increased poverty, inflation, lack of affordable housing. There's many, many issues that we have to tackle. And by doing it together, we have a greater chance of success in achieving our goals. It's important that we follow our tradition. And our tradition is we begin our meeting by turning our thoughts to the Creator, to ask for the Creator's help in the work that we do, because nothing can happen without the Creator helping us in the work that we do. And so we respect both the tradition of our people with the Ohono Gariwatego as well as the Christian prayer. The elders have asked us to observe both, which we do here in when we open our council meeting. So I'm going to start with the Ohono Gariwatego. Gunjokwa, Sedawan Siyos go ni Gariwesa, ne egaradi Ohono Gariwatego, Onka Daiwat non Hode, Aguego Onska Adeniwait Nuni no Guat Nigora. De Yatiniwe Rados ne Aguego Suk, Aguego Skana Gohage. Aguego Onska Adeniwait Nuni no Guat Nigora. De Yatiniwe Rados ne Yetni Stuha, Giowanjari, Gisego, Gatkatgo, Wonhages. Agosat Stonsora ne Ayoni, Niohage. Aguego Onska Adeniwait Nuni, Neon Guat Nigora, Dano, De Yatiniwe Rados ne Aguego Yokionwaze Giseo Wanjade. Aguego Onska Adeniwait Nuni, Neon Guat Nigora, Dano, De Yatiniwe Rados ne Aguego Yokionwaze G Garonghiade. Dano, no. Agadi Aguego de Siwe no we Rado, ne Sunquayat Dizo, ne Negasat Stonsora, no Saoyera, Eto Dio, Dunhak Neonguat Nigora. And it translates to, my people, listen for a short time. The business has now come to pass. Everyone, we will bring our minds together as one and send our greetings to the people so that peace will continue for all. Everyone, we will bring our minds together as one and send our greetings to our Mother, the Earth, as she goes along giving of her own strength to enable us to live good lives. Everyone, we will bring our minds together as one and send our greetings to all the things that support us on this earth. Everyone, we will bring our minds together as one and send our greetings to all things that support us in the sky and the heavens, and that includes our ancestors. And now we send our greetings to and thanksgiving to Sungwaya Dizong, the Creator, the great strength of the natural world. Let this always continue in our minds. And the Christian prayer, Sungwat Niha, Negarung Hyagi, Desiderung, Ogosanadagondi, Sayanetra Andawat, Janutsre et Yauni Nehohunjagi, Jonanitu Negarung Hyagi, Dugyo, Negot Nisarade, Yatadutsaragi Ungunadarunk Oni, Dondagriosto, Nejung Guariowanero, Chita de Garawi Stonis ne Rowdy Wonder Uxero, Ego Ace Salk, Nagaya Netra Nagasat Stonsera, always onsera, Jenyahoe, Awa. In English, it's Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So the meeting is now in session, and in case we have some people online that don't know the members of council, I'm going to ask the councillor to introduce themselves. And again, a very warm welcome to all of you, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you. Yeah. Okay, we'll start. We'll just go around the table and around the room.
Sego, my name is Chris Miracle, elected councillor. I really look forward to working with this group the next 2 years. It's only 2 years. Time waits for nobody, so I'll get impatient sometimes, so bear with me. But I'm sure we'll do a lot of great things the next 2 years. Thank you.
Sago, my name is Linda Lewing. I'm the new counselor. I was on council before, and I'm very excited to work with this new council and to do new things in the new year. Yeah.
And just look toward the camera when you're speaking. Where's the camera, Angela?
Yeah.
Up there, okay.
I don't think they want to look way up, but
Okay.
Sago, I'm a Gory Brandt. My legal name's Chase Brandt. I'm a newly elected council. I look forward to working with every one of you and supporting our community in any way I can.
do you want the rest of council?
Okay, the councillors.
Sago, good morning. My name is Chris Brandt, or my Mohawk name is Rayatapatnio. Anyway, I look forward to the next 2 years. It's my first time. I have a lot to learn, but I feel like I have a lot to bring to the table also. And a main focus is be a voice of people. We're all a team, and the people, as well as the council, are all on the same team. Yellow.
Sago, my name is Curtis Brandt. You best know me as Chip, I guess, Brandt. I also been looking forward to working with this group. Hope we can do some good things. I'm looking forward to it, especially we're working with you, Chief. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Erin Ferrante. I'm Wolf Clan from here. I'm very excited to be on this new journey with all of you, and some of you are, it's also a new journey for. I'm excited to kind of see what we can do together and grow, and I have lots to learn as well, and I'm ready to do that. So congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations, everyone. I'm Angela Miracle. Hello. I am the Senior Director of Operations and currently acting CAO. I'm very much looking forward to working with everybody as well. We are all here because we care about our community, so working together, I think, is the best way to move things forward. Thank you and good luck. Just in case you didn't hear that, because she doesn't have a microphone, that's Shelley Bowden. She is the recording secretary for council. And Amzie, who stepped out, is the chief's assistant.
So good morning. So we need a motion then to review and adopt the agenda. It's a very short agenda, and there'll be an additional item number 5. If you could record it on your agenda sheet, it will be. I will have to have a meeting at some point in time in January where I can get an appointment. I want to go over what lapsing capital there is with the departmental officials to find out what needs that might be able to help us with either water or housing in our community, or the repair of some of our current housing stock or other public buildings as the need might arise. And then I want to know whether or not the community would like to have a public swearing in ceremony at the community center. Some councils have done that. We've not been able to do that this last few years because of the COVID situation. So if that's something council would like to know, I'd like to need a notion. So record that as number 6 on your agenda. And with those additions, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Who will move?
Motion.
Moved by Chris, and remember you must speak into the microphone because people won't hear you that are online. Is there a seconder for that motion to
I'll
adopt the
second that.
agenda? Seconded by Oguari. Is anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the motion is carried. We will now have the signing in ceremony of council. And what we will do, we'll do the same thing. I'll do my oath first, then I'll recite the pledge, and then we will go around the table the same way. Then all you need to do is just say your name, okay? But I'll do mine first. I, Roderick Donald Miracle, standing in the presence of Sungwayat Disung, the Creator, do hereby vow to serve these people, the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte, in the office of elected chief, to the best of my ability, with honesty, wisdom, enthusiasm, and compassion, and to treat all of our people as equals, and to work in their best interests, to work to preserve our rights, culture, traditions, and always strive to retain our inherited freedoms. We will not commit our people to ridicule nor our land to seizure. This I vow. Then I will, then you, when I say the I part, then you just speak your name into the computer and just go around in a circle. I,
Chris Miracle.
Linda Lewin,
Chase Brandt.
Chris Brandt.
Curtis Brandt.
Aaron Ferrante.
repeat after me. We, standing in the presence of Sungwayat Diesel,
We
Stand in the presence of Sungwayat Diesel.
the Creator,
Creator,
do hereby vow
Do hereby vow
to serve the people,
to serve the people,
the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte,
the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte,
in the office of Counselor,
and
in the office of counselor,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
with honesty, wisdom, and enthusiasm,
with honesty, wisdom, and enthusiasm,
and compassion,
and compassion,
and to treat all of our people as equals,
and to treat all of our people as equals,
and to work in their best interests,
and to work in their best interests,
to preserve our native rights,
to preserve our native rights,
culture and traditions,
culture and traditions,
and in all ways strive to retain our inherited freedoms.
and in all ways strive to retain our inherited freedoms.
We will not commit our people
We will not commit our people
to ridicule nor our land to seizure.
to ridicule nor our land to seizure.
This I vow.
This I vow.
I ask Sungwayat Diesel, the Creator, to be our helper. Okay, we'll pass the pledges around for signature. Just do them counterclockwise.
That's a pencil.
That's clockwise, right?
Just circulate them this way, Aaron. We'll keep them going in the same direction.
Extra pen.
He just.
You all good?
well, for now.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
As you sign them, Chris, just keep them circulating a little faster. Just, pardon me? Just as you sign them, just pass them on to Lyndon, to keep them going. It'll go faster. Okay.
First, I sign that one.
Just pass them.
They've already signed it, chief. It got started.
So they don't have to wait for a whole stack. Just pass them on as you get them signed.
So we're all done.
What's your name on it? That's good.
Are we keeping them?
No.
They'll frame them and hand them out to you.
Oh,
No, you didn't.
No, the old people would always say, remember what you promised. And I'll just read the statement that there is a confidentiality agreement that the council have to sign as well.
That's all administrative stuff.
Well, I still, the public need to know what it is,
Okay.
Angela. So the statement of confidentiality reads, the chief and council have an ethical, moral, and legal responsibility to respect and protect the privacy of all MBQ members, employees, committee members, and parties who they receive services from and do business with MBQ or the council. Confidential information must be effectively protected to avoid threatening the operations and reputation of MBQ and the council, which may irreparably be harmed if not. Members of the council will not, under any circumstances, use or divulge any confidential information acquired as a result of their role as a member of the council for their own benefit or advantage, or for the benefit or advantage of their family or known associates. The agreement is in effect immediately and extends beyond the time that the term ends. So when anything you're given in confidence, it has to be kept that way, whether you're on the council or not. Confidentiality refers to the responsibility and duty of individuals, members of the council, to maintain and keep information private that is shared with them regarding the private matters of MBQ members, employees, and community members, and all parties who may receive services from or do business with the Mohawks of Bay of Quinte or the council. The following definitions include, but are not limited to, information related to the community members' personal information, including demographic information, home conditions, educational information, domestic difficulties, transactions such as land transfers or related to MBQ accounts, and any other private matters community members may have disclosed to staff or council. Medical history, medical treatment, attendance or assistance, programs, addictions, financial situation, domestic disputes, or any other private matters which have been discussed with council or staff during business hours is considered confidential. Information related to employees, their families, and personal information, including salary, work history, performance, attendance, or any information learned regarding the employee, such as medical history, medical treatment, attendance at assistance programs, addictions, financial situation, domestic disputes, or any other private matters which have been disclosed during routine business is considered confidential. Information learned during the council business, including any information learned during council meetings or received which has not been expressly authorized by the council as a whole for public release, is considered confidential. Any release of information without the consent of the individuals is considered a breach of this agreement, unless there is a risk to the safety of any person. This includes all modes of communication, including but not limited to in-person, written, verbal, electronic, digital communications. By way of this signature, I hereby understand and agree to adhere to the confidential agreement as outlined above. So have all of the council members now signed the confidentiality agreement?
Yes.
Okay, is there anyone who hasn't? Okay, then it'll be noted in the minutes that all of the council members have signed the confidentiality agreement. Thank you very much. Now, the other thing we'll go to, because we just had the swearing in ceremony, would the council like to have a ceremony at the community center with your family and friends for
Yes, I would.
the public? Is there anyone? Put up your hand if you would. Okay, so then we'll just arrange that then on a date with Tom when the community center is available. And usually we have it, it's been traditional to maybe have it on a Sunday afternoon because people are not working. Would that work for the council, or would you prefer it on a Saturday or it's traditional for us to do our business during daylight hours and not at night. That's the old way.
This Sunday?
Sunday's right.
Well, I don't know. No, not this Sunday. It'll be after, and then early, and it'll be after in the new year.
Yeah.
So we will, is there any dates that are not available, the council would not be available on a Sunday?
No, I'm wide
Pretty
open.
wide open.
Everybody's wide open for a Sunday?
Anything on any weekend for me. It's not a weekend.
You're good, Aaron? And Chris? So the staff then will arrange a Sunday present swearing in ceremony at the community center, and you can wear your traditional dress if you'd like. That would be encouraged, but if not, just however you come is fine. So the meetings for January and February, we schedule these to make sure that council is available, so that there's any conflicts in dates, because I know many of you have other jobs as well. We try to be as accommodating as possible so that all the members of council can attend the meetings. So the proposed dates for the council meetings in just look at your calendars for January.
I believe we stuck with what normally has happened, so if
So
that's different, you guys will have to let us
The
know.
council meetings are normally in
They're still on Wednesdays, right? The council meeting's still on
the
Wednesdays?
3rd may be too early to have a council meeting because the staff.
No,
is coming.
what was proposed, I believe, is the 10th. Yeah, it's on your paper.
Oh, here we have it here. So January the 10th. Is that date good for everyone?
Mm-hmm.
That's a regular business meeting, and that will be starting at 9:30.
Okay, that date won't work for me. I have a non-reserved tripartite housing Zoom call at 2 o'clock. As long as the council meeting is done by 2 p.m., we can have it the 10th. I don't expect there'll be a long agenda for the first
Because
meeting.
it's the first meeting.
So then just note that the council has to be finished by 2 o'clock for my tripartite housing meeting.
10th at 9:30.
The 24th
Correct.
is good. Everybody's good with that date?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go to February. And just note that the regular council meetings are at 9:30 in the morning. And if anyone is scheduled for local business, then the meeting occurs. Watch your emails because Shelley will let you know if no one is scheduled. So February the 7th is the next day. My calendar's open. Is there anyone who's not available on February the 7th? Okay.
Good.
The next day would be February the 21st. My calendar is open for regular council. Anyone not available? It's all good. February the 14th. Do you want to meet on Valentine's Day?
Doesn't matter, it's just another day.
Hmm?
It's a
I don't want to be responsible for any breakups or
holiday.
divorces.
day.
That's okay, I'll come here with my.
That's Valentine's. So if you were planning on going out for dinner or something with your partner or husband or wife.
Not at nine.
What's wrong?
Not at 9:30 in the morning, I'm not.
No, this is at 7 at night.
Chris, is that local?
This is the local business, Chris. 7 at night.
Okay, 14.
Everybody's good for the 14th. There may not be anybody
Is that
scheduled.
local, chief?
Local, 7 at night.
As we get going, Chief, if we need to move it, we can
Yeah,
always
we
make
can.
it the day before or after.
So if there's any changes, don't let us know at the last minute, okay? The 28th, the next local business at 7 p.m. at night. Could I have a mover then to adopt those dates? Moved by Aaron
I'll second you.
and Linda. Is there anyone opposed? Anyone opposed?
No.
The motion is carried. The All Saints Church has requested the use of the Queen Anne Communion silver for their Christmas Eve service. A resolution has to be signed to take it out of the bank. Is there a mover?
Just to clarify for them, the silver, all the pieces that we have are stored at the Bank of Montreal vault.
Yes.
And we have to have an MCR that gives permission to remove it from the vault.
So I'm the custodian of that, and so as it's required, then I get a resolution of council to take it up and take it to wherever it's going to be. I have to stay with it at all times because of the insurance requirements.
I'll move.
Moved by Chris
I'll second, Chief.
and seconded by Curtis. Is anyone opposed? Seeing none, that resolution is passed, and Shelley will circulate the resolution for signature. Now, I will need a motion. I don't know when the date is. It has to be determined because I don't know when staff are available. It's important that we know what, if there's going to be any lapsing surplus, particularly in capital, that we could use for some of our projects, our water projects in particular. There currently is a $57 million proposal into the Disaster Mitigation Adaptation Fund of Infrastructure Canada. It has been submitted already. We're waiting for an approval from Infrastructure Canada, and that's to install water lines on about 30 kilometers of road so that all the roads in the community would be serviced with potable water.
When do you think they'll make a decision on that, Chief?
I don't know. They'll let us know when they make a decision. They don't really have a deadline, okay? But it should be forthcoming pretty soon. Infrastructure is actually a lot easier to work with than Indigenous Services Canada in terms of getting approvals. It's more streamlined. Where Infrastructure Canada, they have the level of service standards, which we don't believe should be applying to MBQ because of the class action lawsuit. We're supposed to have water. And so that's something we need to discuss with the department.
Chief, can we just expand a little bit? What Chief is asking for is what we've been doing for, I don't even know how many years now, is when council travels out of the area, like away, it comes to the table and council approves it, but it basically puts a record out in the minutes telling the public these are the meetings that they're going to. Like the chief's gone to the AFN meetings and Chiefs Ontario and stuff like that. So this is, he's making you aware that he wants to do some traveling. He just doesn't have a date yet. And he's asking for a motion for that once it gets set.
And sometimes AMC has a lot of calls to make because there's other chiefs that may be at the same meeting and they are not available and they have to reschedule the meeting to a different date to accommodate everybody. So there can be a lot of discussion about before a permanent date is nailed on. There's a tentative date that's scheduled. I sit on the Chiefs, I chair the Chiefs Committee, Ontario Chiefs Committee on Housing and Infrastructure, the Chiefs Committee on Energy. I'm the chair of that committee. I'm the AI representative on the AI Chiefs Committee on Health for the Ontario region. So I represent AIA on that Ontario committee. And then I also am a member of the AFN Chiefs Committee on Housing and Infrastructure. And part of our job is to look at the water legislation that's currently before the House, the need for housing. There's an exercise called Closing the Gap by 2030. And the estimate right now is $349.2 billion needed over the next by 2030 to close the gap on infrastructure, housing, internet. That's for all the First Nations across Ontario and the rest of Canada. Ontario's need just for housing alone is $18 billion. And overall, it's Canada-wide, it's $135 billion. So the committee puts forward a proposal that goes to the Minister of Finance, which hopefully influences the fall economic statement, which then influences the budget that's the government's budget in the spring of 2024. So that's an ongoing exercise, but there's a lot of lobby work to educate members of parliament about the extent of the needs, and there's a mixed reaction in terms of what the path forward with the government. So it requires the chiefs to do a lot of educating of members of parliament, because obviously they have to pass that budget. There's now in the federal government a new housing advocate. It's been a newly appointed position. We don't really know at this stage what the housing advocate does. So there's going to be a presentation and a meeting with probably a Zoom call with the Chiefs Committee on Housing and Infrastructure with the new federal advocate for housing issues. Housing is a big concern. We have homeless people in the community. There are people that are struggling to find affordable places to live. The Ontario Works legislation, which is covered by the 1965 Canada Welfare Agreement, is under review and updating. And right now, the shelter allowance is not adequate to pay a month's rent. An apartment now is renting anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 in some cases in this area, and so that is beyond what the affordability scale of a number of our members. I've looked at I've asked for information from our housing department to answer this question of affordability in terms of what is it based on the applications that people can afford to pay. And so we have a mixture. There's probably about 60% of the community can afford a mortgage and they have the affordability, but then there's the balance really don't meet the affordability scale. So they don't qualify for a loan to build a house because they can't afford to make the payments. They don't have enough income. But that doesn't mean that they don't need housing. So the challenge then is for our staff and our council to find some mechanism to address the housing need in the community. And so there's some program design issues that the chiefs are talking to the government about. And so those are ongoing discussions. There is a big push for transfer of care and control of the existing programs that the federal government provides for housing to either a First Nations corporation, or some communities may want to take that on themselves. But one of the things that the chiefs did pass a resolution, there cannot be a transfer of care and control without adequate funding, because all you're doing is just becoming the manager of your own poverty. So the resources to get the job done that needs to be done to build the houses. I think there could be stronger relationships with the employment and training program because the transfer of skills to the next generation. We've done that before to train carpenters. Kevin Casey Builders was one of the carpenters we trained. He built his own successful business. There's been a number of people that have taken that training, work for some of the companies now, and are on and off reserve, and they're building houses on and off reserve in some cases. And so it's important to train the next generation for the trades as well, because trades are also very important to the well-being of our community and our future. And I've always thought that an employed community is better than an unemployed one. It's healthier, it's happier. The people have the income they need to generate to provide for their families, and they just have a better quality of life. And that's what we're really all striving for to achieve for all of our members. There are challenges in housing. There can be addiction issues that there needs to be more mental health. There really needs to be an addiction treatment center in Southern Ontario, so people who do want to deal with an addiction issue have a place to go. Sometimes they need some extra help if there's a chemical addiction, and we should work and encourage all to get well and to be on the path of healing and recovery, and we'll have a stronger community if we do. And there's always challenges in the non-insured health benefit program that usually it's case-by-case basis, where members will make us aware that something wasn't covered, and can we advocate with to get it covered. There's an appeal process in Health Canada for things that are not covered. We have, I think it was 50,000 we put in, Angela, in other health-related program.
Yeah, whenever it
from-
gets down, we replenish it 50,000. Yep.
And so we, as the community grows, we may have to look at increasing that number. And I'd like a report from Scott on the budgetary pressures there, so the council is informed. And so things that are not on the Ontario, on the Canada Health NHB drug formulary, sometimes we can cover those things off through other health related, which comes from, it's part of the budget that's approved by council, and that money comes from our 2008 Ontario Lottery Revenue Sharing Agreement, which they used to call it Casino Rama funding. But in 2008, up until 2008, we used to get money from just Casino Rama Casino. But then in 2000, after there were negotiations took place to get a bigger share of 1.7% of all of the gaming revenue from Ontario. So it's now comes from lottery tickets, all of the casinos in Ontario that are licensed by the Ontario Lottery Gaming Corporation. And so that amounts to a little over $3 million a year. Is that correct, Angela, that number? Is it 3.4 million a year?
I think it's somewhere in that range. It might even be 3.2. I haven't.
3.2 to 3.4,
Somewhere
but
around
anyway, Cecil in her presentation, she'll give you the exact numbers. But anyway, it's over $3 million here. And then of course, in the
fluctuated,
council,
right?
the council have to apportion that by council resolution when they do the budget. So there has to be resolutions of council to commit that money to a project or a program or service. All of the programs and services are not adequately funded, which we are currently lobbying the government on to increase the funding levels. So quite a bit of that money does get used for program top up. So, and then there's, if there's a share of capital projects with roads or that sort of thing, then the council has to, the staff will put forward a recommendation and request to council to allocate some of that money. In terms of investments, we have over $23 million invested at Nesbitt Burns and Bank of Montreal, Nesbitt Burns. We earn just, I think it's $698,000 interest a year on that investment. We have money invested in a GIC or the TCDF fund. No, the TCDF fund is, we charge $3 a carton for the carton of cigarettes because the quota it doesn't belong to the individual businesses. It belongs to the band. The council issue business registration permits, which if they apply for quota, then that quota is shared between all the people who apply for it. It's reviewed, is it in April, Shelley? That quota system? April? Pardon me? Yeah,
It's
the
distributed.
allocation.
The allocation.
April and October it's reviewed by council, and as there's new permits come in, there has to be inspections of the businesses and they have to comply with the policy in order to qualify. So Lisa's department look after that inspection, and there's a fire inspection from the Mohawk Fire Department, as well as if there are issues, then that can hold up approval of there is a conflict with one of the existing requests. And so Lisa will be giving you an update on that, but the rest have been all approved and sent out. So we charge $3 a carton. Our allocation is it 130,000 cartons a year? So we get around $360,000 a year allocated from that quota system. The TCDF, the Tyendinaga Community Development Fund, administers 2/3 of that, which is 260,000 a year, and they provide money for programs for children that want to play sports, hockey, lacrosse, baseball, music, dancing. They provide, and so they have a committee that deals with all that. The council or staff doesn't deal with that. And then one quota, which is about 130, goes to the administration for projects that the MBQ need it for. So that's how that system currently works. There's 1.9 million invested in TCDF and a GIC, and I think there was 700,000 in the bank account, Shelley. About 700,000 in the TCDF bank account. We have funds in trust. I will be following up, I follow up regularly because our Turton Pen Highway settlement has not been paid by the government of Ontario. We're owed well over $1 million in that. I will be pursuing interest on that money because the part of the deal was that the land had to be returned in an environmentally safe condition. That was part of the Crown's obligation, and that has been, there was extraordinary delay in getting money for, to do the environmental cleanup. It has been completed, and I understand that I'll seek clarification from Todd and Megan that the inspections have been done and that the department has been notified that the inspections are completed, so there should be nothing withholding the province of paying that money into our capital trust fund. So I'd like a report on the status of that for the council.
Sorry, I missed that. I was doing status of, sorry, a report on what?
The money that we're owed for the Turton Pen Highway settlement, it's over $1 million, and I would like a calculation on the interest that we've lost, which I think is probably close to another $1 million, which I will be seeking the government to reimburse. I've mentioned it a number of times in the conversation because they are responsible for the delay in implementing the agreement, which required the cleanup of that property. So on the corner of the Shannonville Road and Old Highway 2, Ken Vivian operated a gas station and a Ford dealership there for many years, and there was contamination of the soil, and so that had to be all dug up and carted away to a hazardous waste soil waste disposal center, and there was some then there has to be ongoing testing to make sure there's no off-site impacts to satisfy the environmental part of the Turton Pen Memorandum of Understanding dated July the 4th, 1991, which was signed by former Chief Earl Hill and Shirley Mason, who was the Associate Minister of Indian Northern Affairs at the time. So there's that issue to deal with. We would need to schedule a meeting, and I'd like that on the next agenda, to have the lawyers update the council on the culvert. We need to develop a plan going forward of how we want to settle the balance of the Culberson land claim. The Culberson land claim, there was 293.4 acres of land returned of the 923.4 acres of land to the reserve. So that's part of the claim, 923.4 acres, 293 has been already will turn back to MDQ. It's in the addition to reserve process right now, which is the only mechanism that the federal government has to confirm it as reserve land. Our request originally was to just pass a federal order in council confirming that it is part of the reserve. And so with the land claims, we have no mandate from our community to surrender any lands. We do not have that authority as council. It doesn't reside with, it requires, that type of decision would require the approval of the membership as a whole. And right now I can tell you, because of the growing membership and pressure for lack of land, I would doubt there'd be much appetite to be surrendering any land. So our solution with the previous council was to seek return of the land in compensation for the time that we couldn't use it. And so you recently last year voted on the partial settlement of close to $31 million and the return of 293 acres. We didn't have to give up anything. We got the land back, and it will have to, if you look at the Turton Pen lease, that was a 999-year lease for 200 acres of land. It was entered into with Warren Noble in 1824, then eventually ended up with Turton Pen in 1830 through some kind of lease assignment. And so that had been a long-standing issue by many councils in the 1800s and the 1900s. And so in 1980, there was legal action taken by the council over it. And it culminated with many years of negotiation with the government trying to force a surrender on the band, and a lot of turmoil about that. And anyway, it ended up with Chief Earl Hill signing a memorandum of agreement to a mechanism going forward. So it took 17 years for Public Works and Government Service with Vic Leonard and Bob Brandt to eventually buy out all those improvements in Turton Pen, then there was a committee struck to deal with the sale of those houses to our members. So that took some time, but eventually it did work out the way that we envisioned it, that we would not surrender any land, we would regain control. And mortgages were taken on those houses, which are part of our mortgage program here, but they're dealt with separately, because in the end, the agreement with the 1994 Memorandum of Understanding, July the 4th, 1991, the value of the improvements would be taken into consideration. So we've tracked the mortgages that we have. So there are Turton Pen mortgages. That's the reason for it, because when we file a loss of use claim, which this council should do during this term, then we need to know what that number is. And so our staff will present information on that. But there's a lot of work ahead of the council. The Surrender 24 claim has been filed. It was filed originally in March of 2020. And because of COVID, it was sent by, I think, FedEx or a courier service. And there was a Mr. Demers at the department that signed for the box of material that was sent to the department for the file of claim. I kept asking the government for a report on the status of it, and I didn't get an answer. And so I went higher in the government, and finally we found out in 2022 that they had lost the box of material in the department during this whole COVID shuffle. So in September of 2022, I delivered personally a box of the claim to the department and had them sign for it and brought the letter back. And then Mark Miller came in October to sign the partial settlement for Turton Pen, or not Turton Pen, but the partial Culberson settlement. And I gave him another box when he met with our council. So we believe the government has 3 years to respond to the claim. And we, in our view, the clock started ticking in March of 2020 because we have a signature from one of their staff that they received that material. But they're making it a priority, and so that will be one of the discussions that you'll be involved with the federal government, is their review of the claim. The claim has not yet been accepted by Canada for negotiation, so there are no negotiations until they give us a letter saying that they accept the claim for negotiations. It's a claim where there was a lot of alcohol involved, and so that's part of what and of course we'll have to have some committee meetings to update the committee on that, but that's part of the work that the council will be discussing in the future. There's just many issues that and I know it's a pretty steep learning curve for all of you, and our staff are here to help you. If I can help in any way that I'm quite prepared, just come and see me, call me. I'll make myself available, and if we can't get an answer, we'll do our best to get you an answer. And we need to hear your ideas. And now your point of contact is Angela. If you have things you want to follow up on, Angela is the one who directs the staff. That's not my job. My job is to lobby for funds and have broader oversight, but the day-to-day operations is run by Angela. And if there's information I get, anyway, my job is to pass it on to the staff so they can get back to the committee with an answer. And I do expect timely answers to go out to the committee members, because I will hear about it and the councillors will hear about it if there's not. And so we need to improve our turnaround time in terms of responding. I know some of the departments are short-staffed, and if they're short-staffed, we can get the staffing levels up to what they need to be. And our goal is to provide timely and committed service of excellence. That's our goal, and as an organization, and we will do our best endeavor to do that. We've had many challenges with the COVID situation, with people having to work from home and people being sick and all this sort of thing. It was a very difficult time to work through. And we should monitor the Food Resource Center, because there's many people that are in need, to make sure there's resources there to respond to the need. I want our community to have good nutrition and the basic necessities so that everybody's well taken care of. Those are my comments, and looking forward to getting on with the work we need to do.
Now that you probably way overwhelm them.
That's just a taste. That's a snippet.
Way kind of like, woo.
Let me tell you, if anybody can have a spare head, my brain is full. I need another story.
You didn't finish getting a motion for you to set a meeting to talk to ISC about the lapsing funds. That's
Yeah,
kinda
yeah,
what
I just
started
need a
this whole
motion
thing.
with a motion to travel. It will be sometime in January. The date has yet to be determined. And it might be a Zoom call, but sometimes I find a face-to-face meeting is better. Okay, moved by Aaron?
Yep.
Who will second?
I'll second.
Oguari? And so right now, chiefs are going to the department looking for lapsing, and I'll need some information from our capital and housing on where could we use any lapsing capital. I'm in constant discussions with Kyle Weir, who is the associate director, and Michael O'Byrne, who is the regional director, about that. And we just need to get some numbers, and we'll go and do our lobby work, and hopefully we will have some results. I know the last time we lobbied with Ann Scott, we got some money to fix up Wyman's Roadhouse and the Mohawk Rectory. And that's now transitional housing for our program. So if there's anything that of that nature, then let me know. Or if there's a shortfall in water lines or the building of a road or repair of public buildings, then let me know what it is and we'll lobby. And then on that, so we need a motion then to, we dealt with the Queen Anne Silver. And you're going to have a ceremony and the meeting with the department is approved. And so we'll just need a motion to adjourn.
Is there an MCR for signature? Shelley? Yeah. Or do you have it, chief? Okay.
So
Just making
it-
sure everybody's going to sign it.
So
that's all.
in closing, I wish you all a Merry Christmas, a healthy and happy, prosperous New Year to all of you and to all of your family members. And I hope Santa Claus is good to everybody. And if you eat too much turkey and pie, that you don't gain too much weight. And Angela, to you and your family, and safe travels
Thank you.
to the States and back. I know you always look forward to seeing your family. And
Always. Thank you.
and treasure your family members, because sometimes our family members are taken from us sooner than we expect, and so just treasure your family while they're here, and follow the Mohawk path of kindness and respect for your neighbors, and that's the thread that makes the community strong. It's not being divided at each other's throats. It's helping your neighbors and being kind and doing what you can to help your neighbors, and that's the way we're supposed to live our lives and live in peace. And I think if we do that, then we will have the Creator's help in the work we do. And always in your daily, if you do daily prayers, always ask the Creator to help you in the work you do. It does make a difference.
Yes, it does.
There's many things I thought was not possible, but I always prayed that I would have the Creator's help in the work I do, and it's always came through. We've got things that most people thought were impossible. Now we just need a motion for adjournment. Who will move?
I'll move.
Moved by Linda and seconded by Aaron. So happy